Alright guys, hit that like button, hit subscribe button, leave a comment. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I already shaped that bracket to fit this. I will show this because I gotta pull this back off. Because we got a mill. I'm gonna use the mill because it'll be cleaner to lengthen these holes out. But we gotta extend it out about that far, and then then you can see the bottom hole needs to be stretched out, and then this top piece will fit. So, and the other thing is, in the instructions, here's the instructions right here. It shows to put all this together. I wouldn't do that. I would work on getting the plate on there, and then after you get the plate on there, put this on, because this thing makes it really awkward and heavy. If you're by yourself trying to put it on there, it's just easier to bolt the plate on and then bolt that on. Makes no difference. It's easier. So we will go ahead and get this plate off, and then I'll figure a way to clamp it over there in my drill press, and we'll just slowly take some cuts out of this. And I just figured, because this one down here I'm going to clean it up too. I did with a tiny grinder and stretched out, but to me I want it to look a little bit nicer, so that'll work better. So we'll go ahead and get that pulled off, and we'll start on that. Alright, so this is what I did to make this bracket fit this corner of the frame. If you notice, this one's the stock one where it's nice and round. That one's got a flat spot in it, and all I did is I took it over here onto my vise, went right there, used this because this is nice and hard, and hit that a few times with a hammer, and then kept matching it up until it fit really good. And then all you have to do is rebend these tabs back to flat. And I think too, the threads on these suck, so I think what I'm going to do is re-drill all these holes out and run bolts through and put nuts on the back side, because if you see the stock ones, it already ate the threads. So I'm gonna run down, get new bolts, re-drill these out. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead, and I got this set up inside here, and I had to use I had some steel I bent over to use it so this thing stays where it needs to be. And that's what I gotta cut out right there. That one's a little bit harder to see, but we'll go ahead and start shaving that out of there, get this bracket, and then that's the one I'm going to clean up so it looks nicer. And then we'll re-drill them holes, and then we should be able to bolt this thing on. So we'll go ahead and I'll get this done, and I'll meet back with you when we're ready to start bolting it up. Alright, got the plate all done now. I ended up just stripping the paint off, because by the time I clean these up, I'm just going to repaint it. But got these holes all straightened out. Now it actually bolts on. So, and then I went ahead, drilled all these out, and then these are the new bolts with nylon lock nuts. So I'll go ahead and start getting this bolted on. I'm gonna make sure it bolts on before I paint this bracket. I'll pull it back apart after that, but we'll go ahead and get it bolted on right now. Alright guys, it's all on now. So if you buy a Sidecar, expect to where you're going to have to stretch this hole, just stretch it out so you can get the bolts through for the clamp. I would get rid of the stock bolts. The threads they're junk. I've cleaned them and everything before I put the bolts in, and it tried to pull all the threads off. And I feel like it's going to be a lot stronger because it has a nut on the backside, and these are nylon lock nuts. And then I did washer on each side. You're going to have to reshape that bracket to fit around the bottom of the bottom tube. Besides that, it will bolt on. It will work. For the price point, you shouldn't have to do this much work to be able to make this thing work. But I guess it's just the way it is, and if you guys are able to do it, you can make it work on these bikes. So we'll go ahead, get that pulled off, we'll get the bracket painted, and then once it dries, we'll go ahead and start fully bolting it on, and then we'll get the sidecar put on, and we shouldn't have any more problems. I think that should be the only problem. As long as Sidecar bolts onto that, we should be good. So I'll go ahead and start on that. Alright, it's all together now. Everything's nice and tight. The only thing I kind of left loose is this right here. I got it pretty level, but once we get the Sidecar on there, then we'll see we'll put a level on the bike and see how it's sitting. But it's all bolted to the frame now, so we can go ahead now and start putting the Sidecar on, and then we'll get that wheel on. So I'll get the bike off. I'll get the bike off here and get it on the ground, and then we'll start bolting that up. Alright guys, got the Sidecar on the bike. There's a few things that kind of suck about this thing. The fender, gonna have to do something better. They put one screw and one screw. That is not gonna keep, this thing just moves. And they're tight and everything. The other thing is, it's too tall. I don't know if it's easy to show it in this, but it's taller. It's too tall for this bike. It needs to be shortened, which would mean I would have to go in here and cut. I would have to go in here and cut, higher this up, so I could drop this down farther, which then means the fender's, I mean, it already needs something done to it. The 2 bolts that they give you to hold the Sidecar to the clamp, they're fully tight, okay? You shouldn't be able to do this. So I'm gonna have to probably drill them out, put bigger bolts in. So that has happened. Now the major issue with this whole thing is how you pedal this thing. Your leg smacks right into it when you try to pedal it. So unless you expect not to pedal, then it'll work. So the only way to fix this is to either come underneath here, and where the 2 bolts go in, if I can get it in there, and drill new holes, slide this thing back so then it hangs farther off the bike to gain room, or unbolt the tub and drill new holes and move the tub back. Them are the only 2 ways of moving that back. So this thing all the way around, you have to modify this thing to work with your bike. Now if I put I'm gonna have the same problem with the pedals, the same problem with this, but the height issue might be the fact that it's not an all-terrain, but on their website it says it fits the Rover and all-terrain. So I'm gonna probably end the video here and put this thing off the side so I can get other things that I want to get done, and then we'll come back to this thing. But I'm gonna try to get a hold of Phatmoto and see what they'll say about this thing. But if you guys are looking at buying one of these for your bike, plan on doing a bunch of modifications to get it to work. And like I said, I'm probably gonna have to cut out where the wheel's at so I can get it lowered, because it is sitting high, which might be a reason for the pedals, because how high it's sitting. If I lower that, that'll bring that down, which will give me more gap for the pedal. So just doing that might do the trick. But like I said, either way, I got to go through and drill the holes out, because the tub is completely, even though the bolts are tight, they're too long and you can't go any tighter. And then figure out something with the fender. We're gonna have to figure something new with the fender for this thing. But hope this helps you guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But thanks for watching. Bye.